What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Golf Simulator Videos. I'm here today with an awesome video for you guys, and it honestly has a little bit to do with not only the viewer feedback, but also some important things that you might want to pay attention to with a golf simulator, all right? So we always cover different technologies, launch monitors, you name it here in the channel. Well, when you have this type of technology and you're using it often, you really should be paying attention to the numbers, whether you understand those numbers yourself or you have a PGA professional involved and they can help you understand what's going on with your different clubs in your bag, all right? So I bought a new driver, all right? And you know, it was time, don't get me wrong. So I've been playing with the Callaway Rogue 10.5-degree driver for quite some time now. I'll actually grab it really quick and we'll just talk a little bit about it. You know, so nothing special. This is just the normal Callaway Rogue Sub-Zero. You know, it says it has their jailbreak technology. It's a 10.5-degree on the head, and it's a hazardous smoke 60 gram 6.0 low spin shaft. All right, so I've been hitting this thing for years. My swing has definitely changed over the years. You know, I've made a lot of changes, you know, different ball flights, you know, different speeds, you name it. And over the past year, as I've kind of grabbed a hold of my driver swing, definitely improved. I was talking to my swing coach about the numbers, and I even had some comments in the channel saying, man, I really think you're losing some yardage with your driver. You should get fit. So guess what? I scheduled an appointment down at Carl's Golfland here in Michigan, and wow, am I surprised at the changes that were made. So I switched to a TaylorMade. I have been playing Callaway stuff for a long time, and listen, when you have a guy like I had down at Carl's Golfland, and let me tell you, it was a great experience. I went into the launch studio. It was a performance fitting. We did use a TrackMan device for the fitting. They do have GC Quad there as well. And we basically looked at my current numbers. All right, we hit about 10 shots with my current driver, and then he started handing me different heads and shafts until we saw the changes that he wanted to see. Now I'm going to hit some shots for you guys with my old driver and new driver, and that's why I wanted to cover this today, because we're going to use the Foresight Sports GC Quad, and I'm going to do a comparison chart so you guys can see how dramatic of a change that was made when I got fit for my new driver. So this is the TaylorMade Sim2, okay? And the head alone is drastically different. So this is an 8-degree head now. So I've changed my swing a lot. I'm hitting really up on the ball. It was the first thing he noticed. He was like, wow. And I had it turned down, don't get me wrong. I looked at my numbers and I knew that I hit you know, really up on the ball. So I cranked it down to 9.5. It allows you to, you know, turn down 1. And he said, you know, that's fine, but you really should have the head as close to where, you know, that optimal, you know, angle is. And that was 8 degrees for me. And then the shaft is now a Ventus Black 6S, all right, 6S. And so it's on standard loft, of course, at the 8-degree. And man, I mean, just drastic change in numbers. And so without further ado, let's hit some shots. I'm going to start off with the Rogue. We'll hit a handful of shots, and then we'll hit a handful of shots with the TaylorMade, and then we'll do a comparison chart and talk about it. I'm really excited to hear your guys' comments down below. Everybody does, you know, always ask, hey, are you going to do a what's in your bag video? And maybe we'll do that now. Now I'm kind of understanding how tied in, you know, the golf launch monitor technology and golf simulator technology is, you know, to, you know, picking your clubs. And if you have that available, why not use it? It doesn't matter if you have an entry-level device or you have something, you know, really high-end like a GC Quad. Even if you're getting a good base numbers and understanding of what's going on, that, you know, level degree of, you know, it could have, you know, let's say a variance in spin. Well, if it's, you know, you're 1,000 RPM off, you know, it doesn't matter if your launch monitor might have a variance of 100, 200, let's say, even 200, 300 of spin, you're still going to have a pretty good idea of what's going on. So just understand that. But let's go ahead and hit some shots. We'll get started with the Rogue, all right? All right, guys, so you just saw the 3 shots that I picked out of each driver. So I'm not gonna lie, I had some pretty big misses in there that I don't think would really be fair to compare. Funny part is I felt like, you know, the Rogue, I made a couple really good swings to, you know, toss out of there. I think I could have done a little bit better with the TaylorMade. I might have been getting maybe just a little tired, but I think when you look at these numbers, you're gonna see, wow, doesn't matter. You have gains when you get fitted properly and you have, you know, the right club, the right shaft, whatever it may be. So let's go ahead and dive into those numbers first, and we'll talk a little more along the way. So what I'm going to want to do is I'll just take down my camera so I'm not blocking anything, and then I go up to these 3 trajectory lines up at top. All right, that brings me up here, and you can see that's the ball data from the Sim2. You know, you'd have video, club, everything. Well, I'm going to go to table. All right, and that's going to have both of the sessions that I did. Now, like I said, I eliminated the Rogue. I actually had a couple big misses in the beginning and then was able to snag those 3, you know, after a couple big misses and kind of getting warmed up a little bit. And those are great numbers from my Rogue. I mean, probably some of the best numbers that I can get out of it. And if you've seen me play with it, I think you would agree. I mean, my you know, little misses tend to be up in the 3,000 backspin. Ball speed ends up being like high 140s, you know, and the interesting part to look at here is so check out the ball speed average, 154. All right, check out the launch angle. All right, check out the backspin, and then check out the carry. Those are probably the biggest numbers we're going to look at. You know, and you can see what's interesting here is those are some of my best strikes. Look how offline they were. I averaged 16.6 offline. All right, then I switched over to the TaylorMade. All right, now I probably mishit this thing. I'm not kidding. I don't know, like 3 times right out of the gate. And I'll tell you, when you look at these heads, they're just so different. I think my setup might have been a little bit off. I mean, I think one was like a big heel shot. One was way off the toe, you know, huge misses. And so then I kind of got it geared in and made some good swings. And then those are the 3 swings that I took out of that. And what's funny is that this isn't even, these aren't the best numbers I've seen out of this TaylorMade. I've hit it down in the 1900 backspin and carried it as far as like 295. So let's check these numbers out. So I'm averaging 157 ball speed. All right, so several miles an hour faster than the Rogue, and I honestly have got it all the way up to like 160, and that's high ball speed on the Rogue. Those were great shots, best shots I've been hitting on that Rogue. Now the launch angle, we've brought that down a little bit on average. I've been seeing it around 15 to 16 is kind of where I've been averaging with that new 8 degrees, so that's good to get that down. I was launching it a little bit too high. All right, now the backspin is what I've really been paying attention to. Now I threw the one in there because I thought it was important to show. I mean, I'm gonna still get 2,700 RPM when I mishit just a little bit, and I thought it was important to include that. But I do want you to understand that I've been getting as low as like 1,900 RPM, and I've never been able to hit good drive, solid contact, and get my spin anywhere close to that with the Rogue. And now here I am averaging down there close to 2,300, probably honestly with really good swings closer to like 2,000 or 2,100. And check out the side spin and check out how offline I was on average. I mean, my dispersion seems to be much better with this driver, and then the carry distance is probably what's going to blow a lot of people away. Let's not pay attention too much about total. I mean, let's just be honest. Depending on where your ball's landing, that thing could roll all over the place. Carry is what I'm looking at here. We're on a flat range. Average carry was 269 versus 284. And I've honestly carried this thing all the way up to like, look at that, 290 on the one drive there. So huge gains. Now let's switch over to the club data so you guys can understand where all this is coming from. Now my club speed on the Rogue, 107 to 108 is actually really fast for me. I mean, I was swinging pretty hard on those, not gonna lie. And I probably hit a total of, I don't know, 7 or 8 shots or something to gather these 3. It was like the last 3 that I hit really well. And I averaged 107.6. Well, as I was getting a little bit tired, you know, yeah, I warmed up with some irons and everything. I mean, I took quite a few shots here. I averaged 2 miles an hour faster with that sim. Now, I'm not a club fitter, I'm not a PGA professional, but I mean, it could be a combination here. I mean, a little bit of a shaft change, a little bit of a club change, maybe aerodynamics, but I picked up 2 miles an hour, and I promise you I wasn't swinging harder. That's what's interesting. So I could have made a better swing, but I felt like that was a pretty big gain in clubhead speed. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever reached up in the 110s much with that Rogue if I was swinging as hard as I could. And the problem there is dispersion's all over the place. You can see that my club path was similar. I averaged 2.5 end out and then 3.3 end out with the TaylorMade, and face the target was a little more towards that open side, 3 degrees open, and then you saw a couple of those were up to 5 degrees open. But we're talking face to target, you know, so my average was 1.6 and then 0.1, all right? So if I look at my lie, same on both clubs, loft 0.9, 0.9, and then you can honestly look at the face impact over here. You'll be able to see that, you know, there was one that was a little bit of a heel shot on the Rogue. And then you can see, but look at, these weren't perfect strikes on the TaylorMade. That's what I was trying to explain. So 6 millimeters towards the heel, 9 millimeters towards the heel. I was a little bit high, I was a little bit low. So not perfect strikes. And you know, when you're your average, you know, player like I am, I mean, currently my handicap's averaging around like 11. You know, putting probably has a lot to do with that, but still, you're not striking the ball in the center of the face every single time. So, you know, depending on how you're fit and depending on how that club's working for you, that's important. But I just can't believe that going and getting fit after these handful of years, I'm picking up this type of distance. And let me tell you, it makes a big difference, because that's the difference between hitting sometimes, you know, an 8-iron to a pitching wedge. And I know that I have less dispersion if I'm hitting my pitching wedge versus an 8-iron into the green. So very impressed. I'm gonna go ahead and close this down real quick. There we go. We'll throw this back up. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like I said, this was just a quick video I threw together because, I mean, I honestly just bought this driver. I've managed to play 2 rounds outside with it so far, and I mean, it's amazing where the ball's ending up where it was before. I mean, playing the same courses and seeing what type of approach shot I have with this is it's impressive. So, I mean, the point of the video is that if you have any type of golf launch monitor, golf simulator, and you're getting decent numbers, all right, you're going to be able to tell if it's time for a fitting. I mean, you can look at average numbers that are available out there and where you kind of should be to optimize your numbers, and you'll be able to tell, hey, I might need to go get fit. And especially if it's been a few years and your swing has changed, I recommend it highly, because I think I was overdue and I waited, and I actually had some people comment on YouTube saying, hey man, you shouldn't be spinning the ball that high. I think you're giving up a lot of distance. And sure enough, I mean, I gained some massive distance here. And I'm a Callaway guy. I've always been buying Callaway clubs, and I'm not, you know, loyal to any brand necessarily. And that's just kind of what I've always, you know, gone towards, because I've always played them. And then he threw this head and shaft at me, and it looks totally different. I still feel like it's odd setting up to it. It looks so much different, but I'm used to it. I actually kind of like the way that it looks. It doesn't get me too focused on you know, my setup. I just feel comfortable, and I'm just hitting it better. So really want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. So make sure you comment below and let me know. How about if you've been fit and how your numbers have changed for you? I'd love to hear it. So comment below. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. If you're looking for any type of golf simulator hardware or software, I want you guys to email me. I'll pin it to the top of the comments and put it in the description. I appreciate it. It helps support the channel. There'll be a lot more to come, so stay tuned.